So today you're going to be making some clay tablets, and you're going to be creating some marks on those tablets. So when you get your tablets, you'll see that it's in a clear plastic bag, and this is just to keep it nice and wet so that the clay doesn't dry up. So what you're going to want to do is open the plastic bag, just put that to one side because we can reuse that for later, and unwrap your clay piece. And you'll notice that it's already been rolled out into a flat surface for you, but you don't have to keep it in this shape. And I'll show you how you can reshape it. The reason we put it in a little bit of cloth that's a little bit damp is again just to keep it nice and wet. And also the clay doesn't stick to fabric quite as easily as it does to the surface of the table. So it's always best to keep it on a little bit of paper or cloth, just to stop it from sticking so that you can easily peel it away. So you're going to want a roller or something to roll it out in if you're not happy with the shape of it, or you can just model the sides if you are happy with the shape but you just want it to be nice and smooth. You're also going to want some objects to maybe stamp into the clay and create marks, and you're going to want some natural materials. You'll see that these are laid out on your desk and that you might want to make some marks into the clay with. So I'm going to say that I'm not happy with this shape, so what I'm going to do first thing is I'm going to re-roll my clay into a ball. And put it down back onto the fabric like that. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you can always re-roll it. And I'm going to cover it a little bit with the fabric, press it down a little bit, and with a roller or with my hand, you can also do this with your hand like that. You're just going to roll out the fabric so that it's the shape that you want it. So I want mine a little bit more circular, and I can see that that's happened there. And then what you can go back in is you can edge out the sides, make them smooth by just running your finger along. And what's always best, you'll notice that you've got some water pots filled with water on your table. Dipping your hands in the water and just keeping the clay nice and moist and keeping your hands moist whilst you work with the clay is a really good idea, because then you're not helping the clay dry out as fast. Okay, you don't want to use too much water, otherwise the clay might break up, but you want your hands nice and wet, because you can see you start getting a bit of clay dust on your hands, and what that does is it starts drying out the clay a bit faster, and you don't want that. You want it nice and wet whilst you're managing the clay and creating your marks in it. So you're just wanting to smooth it out, you can pick it up, you don't have to leave it on the fabric. Just smooth out those edges. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that shape, so I'm going to start creating my marks into the shape now. So you can use, as I said, various different materials. You could use the back of pencils or paintbrushes. You could use the tip of a pencil if you want a fine line. And have a think about what different marks you want to create and how you're going to create those. What different tools can you use? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start creating some marks into my tablet, and you might want to use the mark making lesson or the wax casting lesson to get some inspiration for some marks. You might want to just create marks, something quite abstract, or you might want to create something quite realistic like a scenery. Now you'll see that there's a few different stamps around the room. These are made out of clay themselves, so if you want to make some stamps you can do that. But there are some provided on your tables just to create some marks. So you can use those as well. As you can see, I'm using here. And also things like shells, you can roll into it and get some different marks there. You could even use your nail, your finger to drag away any of the clay. It's completely up to you. What I want you to do is I want you to keep working into it until you've got something that has lots of marks, lots of indents, and we can start drying that out, putting some holes in it, and we can hang that on the wall as a tablet piece for your small collections. Okay, so now it's your turn to have a go.